Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Hi, and welcome to We Don't Know Wheel F1. I'm Anne.
And I'm Grace.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome to our ASMR Formula One podcast.
You all have missed about 20 minutes of Grace and Jamie trying to figure out what headphones to use and how to get the mic to work outside.
Coming to you live from Grass Valley, California.
In the outdoors, the great outdoors.
If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, now is the time.
Well, I sit here in rainy Minnesota where I've had the Mondayest of Mondays.
She's had a long day. Honestly, the Japanese Grand Prix?
Not a long day.
No.
Pretty quick, actually.
As long as you're not a Checo fan.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Anne's had as long a day as Checo had pit stop.
It apparently is now the longest pit stop except for Valtteri Bottas' like 46-hour pit stop in Monaco with a wheel nut welded on.
Here's what I understand about Checo's pit stop. He chose to go back out there because he didn't want to take a penalty at the next race.
Yep.
What happened to Valtteri?
Oh, the wheel nut got welded on.
Yeah,
so they couldn't get one of the wheels off.
But I don't know, so they were like, the pit stop won't end until
I don't know. I don't know why it's considered a 46-hour pit stop.
I don't know how I didn't even catch that.
That didn't happen in this race.
Am I missing something?
This is
this wasn't
still at Mercedes.
Yeah, got it. Monaco when he was still at Mercedes years ago. Was it Monaco?
I think so.
Was it just me?
I don't know.
Or did you notice one of the Alfa Romeos? And it looked like they were holding the car up.
Yes.
Like the front jack wasn't even on the front of the car. And they were yelling at the mechanics and they ran over and they literally lifted up the car.
He went and stood in front of between the tar and the front tire. And he's just lifts it up.
What?
Yes. How did you miss this?
That was my favorite part of the race.
That was good.
Yeah, we rewound and watched it again because we were so confused as to what just happened.
There was a lot happening in that race.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Until the last
Let's get into it.
15 laps.
Let's get into it.
There was a lot happening. And then I started falling asleep.
Ouch.
Did you watch it at night?
I did.
You watched it live.
I did.
Ooh, dedication to
She had
craft.
a late night.
We made ourselves a few drinks, had some Kahlua over ice cream, and sat back.
I think when the race was on, I was doing a C-section. But then the next night, we made ourselves a few drinks.
Yes, much more enjoyable. Highly recommend for all of our viewers out there.
Yeah. We did Aperol spritzes to really get into the European vibe of the Japanese Grand Prix.
I was gonna say, since we're in Japan, we're ready to celebrate European style.
You should have been drinking some sake.
I know. I was actually going to say maybe we should be drinking. We should drink for the country.
Yes.
Wait. Okay. Have you heard about what the Buses family is doing for the Buses family Bake Off?
Is it Formula One themed? Because if it's not, I don't want it.
It might not be happening.
I heard it was bread. I heard it was bread.
Is it bread?
Bread themed.
It's not bread themed, is it?
That's the current plan.
You missed out. Last week we talked about this.
What are you? My own family.
Yeah, I heard it's bread theme. I put the Formula One theme back into the mix.
Yeah, I love
I'm
that
advocating for it.
I think Maddie and Jordan are the ones who won't go for it.
I'm a little nervous that if we try and do Formula One, Maddie and Jordan they're gonna choose not to participate in Bake Off.
Bake Off is a big deal in our family.
It is.
I've heard.
And I get mad every time.
stakes are high in the Baby Buses household these
Very
days.
high.
When it comes to the Great Buses Bake Off.
And it doesn't help when
Stay
I'm the
tuned.
most competitive one in the whole family.
You
Well,
are the baker.
Yes.
And I'm the baker, and I somehow lose most of the time pretty badly.
You go too big.
She does.
You got to
Well,
keep it simple.
There was one time where Mom won with a boxed cake, I think.
She loves a cheat like that. She
That
loves
is-
to be like, I've made a puff pastry, but it's Pillsbury.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's one time when Dad won using Grandma Karen's homemade apricot jam, and it was a shoe pastry challenge. They just made little shoe buns, put homemade apricot jam from Grandma Karen and whipped cream in there, and Grandma Karen wasn't even on his team, and then they won. And I was
But I feel like that would be
furious.
allowed in the Great British Bake Off. They are allowed to bring jam from
Dad
home.
didn't make it.
They don't make it either.
Mm.
Not
They
always.
make their
I
own
don't
jam
think.
all the time.
It's like when Taylor Swift records a song and she features another artist on the song.
What?
Featuring Grandma Karen's jam.
Dad won featuring Grandma Karen's jam. It's a thing. Anyway.
And I helped Dad and Jordan make their shoe pastry for that challenge.
Well, you
Lesson
should not have
learned.
helped them.
Lesson learned.
I know. I help people too
Every
much in
man
the
for
challenges. It's
themselves.
bad.
And it's like, I love too much.
That's you are, I guess by helping, you are also kind of winning.
Yeah, you're honorary teammate.
It does not
Unlike
feel like
Perez
She
in the Red
wants
Bull
the
shootout.
trophy.
Mm. Yeah, so you're saying you're Checo, you're feeling the feels of Checo through the Great Buses Bake Off.
that.
That's a fair analogy. That's a fair analogy. Who's the Max Verstappen of the Great Buses Bake Off?
Checo's just doing badly right now. I'm sorry, Annie.
Oh, his race was awful. This is the first race
And
that I watched him, and there was like no excuse for why it was so horrible.
We're literally
was-
in a life flip. Like, I'm like, Carlos is doing fine.
I know.
In fact, he's done great a couple weeks in a row. And hitting rock bottom.
So bad.
Sorry, Anne.
The only thing that's saving my sanity is I feel like there's not a clear replacement for who's going to take his place, because everyone is like locked into contract, and I don't think Danny has had enough races with AlphaTauri for them to trust
Liam
him
Lawson.
Mm. We have one name for you.
Liam Lawson.
Nico Hülkenberg.
Pierre Gasly.
Oscar.
You guys have to do Formula One themed, and as you present your foods, you need to announce the names of each of the drivers via Danny Ricciardo style.
See, this
That's
is
a
if we
must.
try and do this, Maddie and Jordan will just be like,
And
nah, we're not going
have
to
them be
do
the
Bake Off
judges.
this time.
Have them be the judges.
They won't
'Cause
even
you
want to
need
do
to-
that. They're so anti-Formula One.
That's lame.
I know.
Hmm.
They're anti-Formula One to be anti-Formula One.
Okay, just let them not enjoy it. It's okay. Yeah, Checo is
Yeah.
It's
in
bad.
trouble. Even
It's
Will
really bad.
Buxton in the post-race show was basically like,
yeah.
Danny Ricciardo's gonna replace Checo.
Yeah.
Not saying something.
I don't it's hard to see them replacing Checo with Danny for 24, just because Danny only drove 2 races and then broke his hand, and he's gonna have maybe 5 races before the end of the
Yeah, but
season, and I just don't know if that's enough to prove to Red Bull that like he's back and he's himself again. So I don't
So
know.
I heard that Checo has a clause in his contract that he cannot be sent to
He does.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
But what if they are allowed to just be like, okay, well, you're on reserve, and they pull up Danny, and then if he does bad, then they pull back Checo.
Crazier
Oh,
things
yeah,
done.
I don't
They have
know.
enough drivers to do that. I feel like that honestly is not far off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like Checo is finally fully crumbling under the same pressure that Pierre and Alex crumbled under.
The
And
way
it's
he was racing, I'm
horrible to
sorry.
watch.
I was like, holy
Yeah.
Like,
moly.
what was that
Yeah.
move on Magnuson? It was so stupid. Whereas, it's like,
Okay,
if
tell
he
us about
just
the move.
No, you were watching.
I know, I can't remember it though. Our viewers
so
might not
Checo had
remember.
already had contact from, I think it was Carlos and Lewis on lap 1. So he had to pit for
Yep.
new wing, and he was back in 17th. He passed 1 or 2 cars, and he was trying to pass Magnuson, and he was just
And he went for the inside.
you
That's
could tell he was driving angry. And he was so impatient and just like, I'm not supposed to be here right now. And he went for this move up the inside and basically ran straight into Magnuson, spun Magnuson around, and damaged Checo's front wing again.
Oh, that was the second front wing.
Was it
damage.
Magnuson
Yes.
or Hulkenberg?
Magnuson.
So in this race, Checo bumped into
A lot of people.
Yeah. K-Mag.
Well, that was the one that was really bad. In the beginning, that opening lap, I mean, he was in the center. There was nothing he could do at all.
Everyone was getting squeezed.
Yeah. Fun race start. A lot of action.
Wild
Mhm.
race start.
Super
Lot of
fun race start.
action.
Okay, random observation, but I feel like this season there have been so many crashes where both cars have been able to just continue, where in the past I feel like they would have just been crashed out. And I think
I
that's
was
kind of
shocked they were able to continue. And even that Lewis and Carlos came out of that interaction with Checo.
Yeah, I mean, no one was immediately out on the first lap. No one was off on the side of the track where their car couldn't keep going.
You love to see it. We want to see racing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
But I
they
think
were
it almost
racing.
feels
Not the
like
top 3.
the cars are
Yeah.
so strong now that they won't break under contact as easily.
I'm here for that. I don't want an IndyCar rub situation, but I do want there to be able to be a little contact and for them to keep going. It's such a bummer when they get the tiniest bump and then they're like, you're out. Retire the car. Retire.
That's just being a
car-
Ferrari fan.
I was gonna say, is everyone just taking notes from Fernando Alonso?
Yes. Yes.
They're like, if
Okay.
he can do it, we can do it.
Fernando was also driving angry this weekend, I feel like.
I could see that.
He
Yeah.
was okay, what did he say?
Oh, you threw me to the dog, the lions.
You pitted me early and then released me to the lions.
Some great radio content this race.
Well, wait, okay, have you seen the radio from Carlos about when he was like, they're trying to use my strategy against me?
He said that?
Yes.
I did not see that.
And Ferrari was like, yeah.
Who was he referring to? Mercedes?
Yes.
Which broke down in
Oh,
less
which
than a
broke
lap.
down immediately.
That's when Lewis was trying to give George the toe.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
DRS.
not. And then, okay, last radio that I didn't even see during the race, Alpine forced Gasly and Ocon to switch places.
So I was
Anne's gonna
looking
defend
into
Ocon
this
here.
earlier
No.
because I was confused about it too. And apparently they had so earlier in the race had been Ocon in front of Gasly, and they switched him because Gasly was faster, so that Gasly could theoretically try and go up and catch the next person, and Gasly wasn't able to do that. And so then
Wasn't he 13 seconds behind though?
I think so.
Okay. And he was faster and on newer tires.
Yes. But so then the agreement was
Yes.
that
She sounded like Snape. Yes.
the agreement was that they were supposed the team agreement is if you do that and the person isn't able to catch up to the next person and pass them on the last lap, you swap back. So whoever had been in front would end up in front. Kind of just like Max and Checo in Brazil when they finished 6th and 7th, and Max wouldn't swap back. Except Pierre actually did swap back like he's supposed to. He just was not happy about it.
But also I feel like I'm sorry. I felt like the hot take on the internet was people being like, Alpine's trying to justify why they signed Ocon for so long, and he just is not as good as his teammates.
I mean, I'm not a big Ocon fan.
Nobody is. I don't even
I
say
feel
that
like
I'm like, he's fine. But it is shocking when you watch those like Grill the Grid videos and they're asking for like a last name that starts with an O. And literally everyone was like, don't know him.
And they even
And it was like they were
prompted the
giving full,
drivers.
they were like, oh God. And
Like,
then the driver would be like,
your teammate.
I don't know anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't feel like the cutesy thing that they do with other people where they're like, oh my gosh, how could I forget? They were all like, oh well.
Bestie. Not so much of a bestie. Poor guy.
I feel like I have a particular dislike for Ocon because I think it was the first season of Drive to Survive, they have this whole narrative that Checo is like pushing Ocon out of the seat at Force India because Checo has money from Mexico and Ocon doesn't have any money, and Ocon is the one who really deserves that seat. But no, it's probably like the second season of Drive to Survive when Force India is being bought by Lawrence Stroll. And I really don't like that narrative because Ocon did totally fine that season, but Checo was better. And they didn't just keep him because of the money. And I feel, and like the way that Drive to Survive uses that narrative has always made me not like Ocon.
Well, here's a hot no gossip because it's just me saying whatever I feel. Everybody knows Alonso is the teammate who really is like, he is a schemer. And
yeah.
It's also well known that Alonso does not like Ocon. How much is this is Alonso going around bad mouthing Ocon to every other driver on the grid, and that's why they're all like, I don't like him, I don't know him, because I do feel like every driver on the grid like wants Alonso to be their friend.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so crazy that he's just like cool and everybody wants to be in with him. Totally.
And I think most of the drivers like really looked up to him growing up.
Yes.
And like, even if you were a Lewis fan growing up, like Fernando somehow is like more approachable and more fun.
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen that this year, even with like the stupid stuff he's doing on TikTok. He seems super fun, and his ability to make fun of himself is really fun.
I will say, with only the algorithm gods feeding me F1 content, I haven't seen anything other than, well, obviously I'm a Ferrari fan, so I see a lot of Ferrari. I get a lot of McLaren, which I've become more of a McLaren fan, I suppose. But I don't really see anything from either. Pierre, I feel like has a big Instagram presence, but I don't ever see, and I see Fernando comes up on my TikTok. I never see Ocon come up. I don't think I've ever seen any of his social media.
That's because Ocon doesn't have like any fangirls.
Yeah, who's
not
readers?
Mick.
If any of you guys out there are Esteban SE Bestie fans, write in, tell us what you see in him. Help us understand.
Not to call her out, but Jamie was being very mean to Esteban Ocon during the post-race show.
I was really laying it on
There was
thick.
some body shaming.
And some face shaming. I'm not proud of it.
I mean, I think our culture is so obsessed with tallness. Sometimes it's okay to shame someone for being tall. No. Well, Anne just sent a video on Instagram that's someone playing Would You Rather with Yuki Tsunoda, and they asked him if he would rather be the head chef of a restaurant or 6'4", and he was like, how tall is 6'4"? And they're like 2 meters, and he's like the head chef of a restaurant.
Yeah, obviously.
Like what?
That's his
I
biggest
also
goal in
never
life.
had any doubt that he would say head chef.
Yeah.
It's also like, why would 6'4" be in any sense competitive for him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why would he want that? Has he ever expressed he wishes he was 6'4"? It's
Yeah.
tallest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that heightest?
Heightest.
It's heightest, and I won't stand for it. And we need to lift up our short kings.
Yeah. You're here. To Yuki. I can't wait for Yuki to open his restaurant.
I will go.
know.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a
Here's
trip.
what we should do. We should save up our trip to the Japanese Grand Prix
Yeah. For once he's retired.
for once he's retired. And it has a restaurant. So then that way we can do it
Yes.
all.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But I feel like Yuki had a decent, speaking of, he had a nice race. He didn't
did.
get an F.
He didn't get any points.
He didn't
but
get any points.
he did his
I'm
best.
always rooting for Yuki.
I mean, how many people DNF'd? 5 or 6?
So many.
5.
Oof. We had a lot of people.
Well,
get out.
5 and Checo twice.
Yeah. The fact that
All of the
Checo-
Red Bull DNFing twice, but Max still wins jokes were just a joy.
Ooh. Rough. Yeah, rough race for Checo. I almost said Carlos. I meant Checo.
Carlos
Ugh.
did not get his standard 5th. That was interesting.
Hmm.
No.
But I also feel like Hamilton was truly motivated by like, I've never gotten below 5th in this race, and I am not going to start today.
Mm.
Sometimes
Speaking
I
of
think that's a
Hamilton,
big motivation for Hamilton.
I feel like Team LH was in rare form on social media after the race.
Okay, tell
What?
us.
Yeah.
Was it about George?
Yes,
Georgie boy?
of course. They
And-
were there were people who, well, there is some like continual being upset with Mercedes for not listening to Lewis Hamilton enough and making a better car for him, as always. And then there was, okay, the part I had never
Which
seen before.
that the intensity of that fangirling to just be
Mhm.
like, obviously Lewis would have built a faster car. It's like, well,
Or like,
the whole team wants a
how
faster
did you
car.
not build him the perfect car? How did you not listen to every single thing he said? But okay, the thing I hadn't seen before is there were people who it was like they're saying they were implying they want Bottas back as a teammate, and that George Russell was a bad teammate because George Russell had like been complaining on the radio, and George Russell hadn't like moved over immediately when they told him on the radio that he needed to like move over for Hamilton. Whereas like I'm not a giant George Russell fan, but it's also super normal for it to take 1 or 2 laps to get a teammate to move over. And Bottas did the exact same thing multiple times when he was his
I think-
teammate.
Okay, I saw a little clip from a podcast where like a former Formula One driver or team principal or something was talking about what's going on at Mercedes right now. And they were basically like, if I was in charge of Mercedes, I would tell George, like, I will only re-sign you if you understand that you're the number 2 driver, because that's the way you win championships, is you have to truly prioritize, and Mercedes is choosing not to prioritize right now, and that is a problem.
Yes, but I don't think that's Mercedes' biggest problem. I think Mercedes' problem is that their car just isn't good enough at the moment.
Yeah, I think that I think you are more right, Annie, but I liked the audacity. No, I do have to say, like, George is so frustrating during races. Like his radio comment is just like, it's unlikable. And
Yes.
okay, we were watching the post-race show.
Yes.
And he was standing there and the sun was shining and he looked beautiful. And I was
Okay.
like,
What is going on with his hair? Why has it
I don't know.
changed so much in the last 3 months? Sorry,
Trying out
random
the different
interjection.
styles. go on.
No, but he was looking like, I was just like, he looks beautiful, and Jamie was like, ugh, and then
Too perfect.
it's like until he opens his mouth.
Yeah, I found out that George is Grace's type on paper. And I said, thanks, not for me.
Really?
But I love that
In
journey
what
for you,
way,
and I can't
Grace?
wait.
I just thought he was cute. I don't want to get beat up over this. Like, he has good bone structure and he has nice eyes. So sue me.
And I'd agree.
Thank you. But then he starts talking and you're just like, they're all so competitive, and I don't know why George is so grating. Like, when he is like, I was predicted to have a podium, you're just like, you suck, dude. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And
I think
it made me be like Carlos definitely has things where he'll be like, we need to work on this as a team, even though maybe it's like his own stuff that needs to be fixed. Like, he needs to drive faster. But I find it more palatable from him.
Mhm.
But from George, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, it's not, you don't deserve anything. You
Wait.
better show up and win it.
Mhm.
Here's why I think George comes off poorly, especially in Mercedes now. They hired him to be on the team because they want him to be the replacement for Lewis Hamilton, not to be the one who's playing second fiddle. And they probably thought that Hamilton was going to win the championship in 21, race maybe 1 or 2 more seasons because he would have 8 already, and then retire. And George would need just 1 or 2 seasons at Mercedes with Hamilton to like get under his feet. And then George would start winning everything. And that's not happening because Hamilton didn't win 21. And now they have a crap car. And so now they have 2 people who think that they should be world champion. Am I wrong?
Okay.
No, I think you're right.
I know. That's a great hot take.
Thank
I
you.
like, yeah, I think you're right. And to go back to whatever this guy, who I don't know who he was or his name or what he does, was saying,
We're real professional tonight.
we don't know Wheel, and it's fine. You showed up for fun. I do feel like, yeah, like, I think you're right, Annie, and that they were like, this guy will be the next world champion, so Lewis is going to teach him how to build the car that suits him. But now they're trying to suit a car to 2 people, and it's suiting no one, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not good.
Yep.
I'm wondering too if like is okay, I don't know, Wheel, about the history of Formula One and how long drivers stay on the grid. Is Fernando Alonso like totally pioneering the way for like older world champion drivers?
In the
So
modern
everyone's
era,
like, oh,
yes. In the
Okay.
1950s and 60s, there were definitely more older drivers.
okay.
But in
Yeah,
the modern
so-
era, absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess I'm like wondering, well, if Fernando Alonso is doing it, are the other quote unquote older drivers being like, well, we're going to just ride this out as long as we can.
But I would say, I feel like Lewis and Fernando have this in common. They have no wives and no children,
True.
Mm.
or no partners, whatever. You
Very
don't have to be
true.
straight, but they don't have a partner and they don't have kids, and their whole lives are just devoted to racing.
True. Like, look at Sebastian Vettel.
He's got bees.
Yeah.
He's got bees. Let's talk about the Sebastian Vettel bees of it all.
Yes, let's. What I really am just, I'm waiting for Sebastian. Honestly, if Red Bull was smart, helmets out, Sebastian's in.
Mm.
Yes.
Is that what
Wow.
everyone's saying? Is that
Except I think Seb either wants to drive or like be the
net zero ambassador?
yeah.
he
Yeah.
could be
that's
the
what I was
net
looking
zero
for.
ambassador for Red Bull?
So did Sebastian Vettel's like, did he come up through the Red Bull training? I don't know what it's called. I don't know, Will. Okay.
Yeah, he's Red Bull Junior all the way.
There you go. Okay.
And also Red Bull wasn't like really quite Red Bull when he was first coming up, right?
Oh.
Mm-mm.
They're Alpha.
He's early.
Alpha Tauri.
No, it's so
It was
Red Bull
Minardi, right?
Never mind.
bought a team in
They
like
bought Jaguar.
yeah, I think it was Jaguar. And
Jaguar
it
had a
was
team?
in the like mid 2000, like the mid aughts.
Yes. You're doing good, Anne. Keep
Mid-aughts.
going.
and,
Progressing.
and I don't think that Seb he wasn't like their first driver. DC, I think was one of their
Coulthard
first drivers.
yeah.
Oh.
DC was, I think, the first driver to score a podium.
For Red Bull.
For Red Bull. And so Seb came up and started for them probably in like 2008, 2009. And so
But
he was their first
at-
like really, really successful driver at Red Bull. But he went in their
Was
junior
he-
program too.
Mm-hmm.
Because did Red Bull buy Minardi, and that became
What is today
Toro
AlphaTauri.
Rosso. Yeah,
And Seb drove for
And
Toro
that's-
Rosso.
and he won he got a podium with them too.
He won a
right?
race with them.
Yeah, he won a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Red Bull fangirls over some of their own drivers is kind of the feel I get. So they'll be like, they want to keep Seb around because he's likable. The people love him. It's like keeping around Danny Ricciardo.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's great PR. They know what they're doing.
Red Bull loves
even
their
if they have
PR.
an idiot in
Yes.
charge. Don't
It
even
was
get me
weird
started.
with like Red Bull doing all of their team. We won the constructors championship celebrations, and like Checo was just like fully involved in them, which like he should be. He helped win the constructors, but it felt weird watching that of like, wouldn't Checo feel weird being a part of those celebrations after what a horrible race he just had?
More mental health talk. We were talking about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Like
were you-
what you were saying on the hike today about Carlos's interview about like picking
Oh.
yourself up. I am stupid.
we were talking about the P1 interview. Is that the name of that podcast?
Mhm.
Okay, where he talked about his hair, but then he also talked about how do you they asked him like how do you handle when you have a bad race, and he was like, I actually think the best thing is to like analyze and then move forward and don't like get hung up on it and blame yourself, unlike my teammate.
Spicy. So I wonder, I mean, like we kind of talked about last week, the whole mental health aspect of the racers, because I agree with you. I think I'm sure felt weird to be like, oh, we just won the constructors and I didn't even finish this race.
And now
Like,
I have to go
knowing-
be happy with the team.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also know that the
Yeah.
team is like not happy with how I performed this week.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I think I don't often think about like the way that it's literally their job, and
Mhm.
like everyone on the team is depending on them to do well, and like they're doing well literally influences how much money the team gets, and all of those people, that's their jobs. And
Yep.
yeah, that seems
I wonder if the pressure though isn't. I mean, the pressure is always on. I understand that, but is it on a slight bit less because Max is doing so well?
I think it's the opposite.
Okay.
Because you're constantly
fine. No, that makes sense.
Just 'cause
I
you're-
see it. I see it.
your
But, like,
your
also-
one comparison that you constantly have is your teammate.
Sure.
And if your teammate is winning literally everything, it's not even great when you come second anymore.
From a sideways point of view, at least they're still winning, even though he's not doing great.
But then you
So
have
they
people
have some
making
change
jokes
to
of,
work.
well, Max could win the constructors on his own.
Oof,
I
that's
know,
rough.
but like he kind of could.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, he kind of is.
At least they have some change to work with because Max is doing so well. I mean, obviously, Max is dominant.
And this
Stupid Max.
season, I
Uh-huh.
also feel like Checo has been less helpful to Max.
Sure.
Obviously, like Max needs less,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Max is just wildly dominant. So
Yeah.
like what Checo doesn't need to hold anyone off.
Yeah.
Max is 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like in 21, Checo won one race, which was Baku, and when Checo won, the pressure from Checo, it forced Lewis into a mistake where he like clicked the wrong switch and went off when they were doing a restart when there was 2 laps left, and Checo won. Lewis ended up with nothing, and Checo held off Lewis during Abu Dhabi without and if that had happened, Lewis would have won the world championship. And there is no need for anything like that this year because Max just wins everything like a machine.
Yeah. Poor Checo.
I know.
I think the writing is on the wall.
It does make you be like, I know Danny wants to get back to Red Bull, but for what? No.
I think, we're both in agreement he should go into some F1 commentary.
Oh, that'd be super fun.
Yeah, keep him around. We love him.
We can replace DC with him.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, and especially I feel like once Danny is no longer a part of any Formula One team, his commentary is going to become really fun. Where because I mean, as drivers, they have to be very thoughtful about what they're saying, and
some of them are.
Once that's gone, I want to hear Danny's unfiltered thoughts.
Okay, speaking of people who we were having a discussion earlier about Lando. So obviously we know this race we had a McLaren 2-3, which by our standards is basically a McLaren 1-2.
Yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it.
I want to talk about the Lando commentary because I personally, and this is my we've just been having some good, banter about people we like, people who are grinding our gears a little. And I'm so hung cold with Lando right now because, in Grace's words, he was being a brat on the radio.
He is a brat. It's like a sugar baby brat.
Did you hear him in the cool down room when they were watching Checo run into K-Mag? And Lando was just like, interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I actually think the combo of Lando and Oscar is like a real delight because they're bringing the exact same energy. I think that Lando has he's a little more high energy than Oscar, but they're both like, they're just really giving Jim in the office.
Yes. Which
That's good.
The clip when they Max came in for his last pit stop at the end of the race, and then Max leaves and they pan over to Checo sitting in the garage.
So
the only thing I saw
sad.
it compared to on social media was the office.
The amount of time they spent with the camera on Perez in the garage, I was like, there's a car race going on right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point of the race when there was not too much happening.
Oh, we were cracking up when we're like, I think they'd already shown him once, and then we go back and they're kind of like, it just looks like there's a little bit of chaos happening in the garage. And I think Grace was like, oh, the mechanics have to put their helmets on.
There was one standing around, and then all of them had their helmets on, and then someone was pointing at this guy like, you gotta put your helmet on. And so he goes and gets his helmet, and he's like, really?
That was just so confusing in the moment.
Vital information for the race.
Why? The FIA is
incredible. I mean, Red Bull made that decision. They did not have to do that. They wanted him to serve that penalty.
It was a very Red Bull move.
Red Bull wanted to serve it in this race.
Yes. But you're saying the FIA were just going to let it.
Yeah, they were like, obviously you'll serve it at the next race because you retired.
Well, it would have been a 3-place grid drop for the next race.
So bad. So Red Bull's like, screw that.
Yeah, we'll put the car back out.
After
Yep.
and what I really loved was when the announcers kept saying how many laps down he was. We're 13 laps down and we're gonna be putting this car back out.
25 laps down.
25 laps down.
We haven't even talked about it was Oscar's first podium.
Oh yeah. I'm so happy for him.
You were
Yeah.
literally telling me how you did not like Oscar.
No, I don't like Esteban.
No, when we were in the car, weren't you like, I don't like Oscar?
No.
And then I was like, yeah, I know. And then
This
I
whole
realized you were
podcast
talking
is
about
just-
Oscar, not Esteban. Look,
Just
there's a deer
us
right
talking
there.
about what drivers we don't like today.
Yeah. No, but I'm so happy for Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like Oscar. I don't like no. I was getting mixed up with Esteban and Oscar. Oscar? When we
Two
were
very
talking
different
about-
people.
Red flag.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
No, they like Oscar.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were saying
Oh,
you didn't
that-
like that.
No. But anyways,
Sorry.
I'll finish this off screen.
She's like, we're not gonna touch this.
Yeah. No, I like Oscar.
I do too.
I'm excited for
doesn't?
him. I'm happy for him to have gotten his first podium.
He's just a cute little
Very happy for
Aussie.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's a little
It's
nugget.
still a little it's a little crazy to me how just like chill he is about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's his first podium in Formula One. And it's just like, yep, I'm happy. And that's it.
I feel like Lando was more excited about second place in the last race.
Mhm.
Because of
Mhm.
Carlando. The
Yes.
Carlando tooth.
I mean,
one,
Lando
two.
was definitely psyched in this race too, but Oscar was just like, yeah, and Lando was like, wow. He was literally jumping. He's like skipping around.
Yeah, because by our standards, he got first. So
And especially this time.
yeah,
Not that
Yes.
last time didn't count, but last time Carlos literally got first.
Yeah. so
And Grace will never forget it.
Never. Never.
yeah.
We were also talking about Lando's, like, you know, how he smashes the champagne
yeah.
bottle to get and then what happened in Hungary where he broke the trophy.
Mhm.
And so I was like, is he still doing that? Is he afraid? But he did.
He did it.
He is. I think he's just doing
definitely
it
did
a
it
little
last
further
week.
away from where the trophy is.
He's
Yeah.
doing it off camera so he can't get in trouble.
So we won't be shamed for it.
Did you guys see there was some video? I think it was a video of all the AlphaTauri and Red Bull boys in Japan doing these like different challenges with these like little trucks, delivery trucks, I think. And Max and Checo won. They beat the AlphaTauri boys, and they gave him the trophy at the end. And they gave him a trophy that was already broken.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love that.
It's a
I
great
think it's
video.
good. I think McLaren's doing really good PR. I think Red Bull's doing really good PR.
Mhm.
I think Ferrari actually has fire PR. And I think Aston Martin has really good PR.
I haven't even watched any of Aston
I feel like I don't
Martins.
see any Aston Martin besides like Fernando's TikTok stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
definitely Aston Martin.
True.
Like, Fernando is not making that. Some intern at Aston Martin is like, hold up this book that says Roman Empire.
that's
So
a good point.
many
Yeah, Fernando's
stupid
not
Roman
making that.
Empire things this weekend.
Oh my god.
I mean, who told him to go smell all those flowers? Because it was literally
Fair.
brilliant.
Fair.
I have not seen much of Aston Martin's PR. I need to get on that.
You don't remember when Fernando was just going around smelling the flowers in the back of interviews?
No. That's hilarious.
Or when he was like quoting
Good.
Taylor
That's
Swift
so
lyrics.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been hearing a lot of Swifties right now.
What if that whole rumor was started by Aston Martin?
That's brilliant. Honestly, that's genius.
We would interview the PR people from these teams.
Yeah. Bring him in.
What if Alpine actually makes incredible PR, but it's all in French and we're just not getting it?
Ooh.
You
Maybe
just don't get
that's
it.
why.
But
we
then
don't
you would
like
think
either.
that they would sell more merch, and they seem to hardly sell any merch.
To the French.
Yeah, maybe they're just
Maybe.
French purists now.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be going to Paul Ricard.
There's not even an F1 race there.
I know.
All trips are now planned around F1 races for us.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
McLaren 2-3, aka 1-2.
love it.
We
It is shocking how well McLaren is doing.
every race that they
No.
do well, I'm like, this is crazy. They were literally at the back of the field.
I know. Literally
They
at
were
the
like-
beginning of the season, I was like, lost cost,
Yes,
give up,
same.
done.
No,
They were 8th or 9th fastest, and now all of a
Crazy.
sudden they're second. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. So where are they in the standings now? Do we know?
They're still behind Ferrari.
They are
They're still behind
5th.
Alpine.
That's crazy.
They must
Oh,
have
no.
beat Alpine.
They're behind Aston Martin.
Do I have
They're
permission
still
to look
behind
it up,
Aston Martin.
Grace?
No. Okay, I think I can tell you the way the standings go right now.
Okay, let's
It's
hear it.
Red Bull, then Mercedes, then Ferrari.
Or is it Aston?
It's either Ferrari or Aston, but
No, I
I think
think it is
Ferrari
Ferrari. I
starting
think
to
you're
pull
right.
away
Mm-hmm.
because the only points that Aston Martin has gotten, I think, are from Fernando, and he has less second place podiums than Norris, or they have equal.
Norris and Checo have equal now. And I think
Yeah.
Fernando is probably one behind or something like that.
Yeah, which makes me think. So I'm pretty sure Ferrari is now ahead of Aston Martin. I could be wrong. Go ahead and email us. I just saw a deer walk behind us on screen. And then, yeah, it's Aston Martin and then McLaren. I think McLaren still has a lot to make up.
Yeah, to try and catch Aston Martin, they have a lot to make up. And then
how they've had
I think it
so
would be
many good
McLaren,
races.
Alpine, Williams, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri.
For
Oh, Haas is in
AlphaTauri.
there somewhere.
Haas is, I think, at the bottom, babe.
Forgot about Haas. No, AlphaTauri
I
is
see
at
you
the
looking
bottom.
at your-
Okay. Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, Alpine, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri.
Oof.
So we were right, except I forgot Haas.
AlphaTauri. Poor Nick DeVries,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah, he didn't really have much of a chance.
He never stood a chance, especially because the Williams and the AlphaTauri are just so wildly different.
Yeah.
Oh, he was with
Did you
Williams
see the
prior.
pictures of
That's right.
Nick at Harvard this week?
Oh, did he go back to school?
He's
He's
like
going
taking a
back to
class
school.
there.
Oh, fun. He's taking
They were
what?
very cute. He looked
What-
happy.
What did you say he was taking a specific class? Or what did you say?
He's
I
taking a
missed it.
class. It's some sort of like business management or some, I don't remember exactly what it is.
Okay. Good for him.
Yeah.
Doing what he likes. I also want to finish on what did we think of the trophy? Because the trophies were so
Okay, I loved the kiss part.
Yeah,
I did like the
yes.
kiss. And then Christian kissed his in the wrong place. And I was like, what's your problem, dude?
The only one who got the kiss right was Max. None of the others did it.
They didn't even the McLarens, neither of them, I think,
Well,
even tried.
I think
Not on
that
the
I saw a
podium.
post on F1's Instagram before the race, only after
Oh, yeah.
qualifying, where they were showing the trophy. And it was like, it's
With
a special trophy that
The
you'll
Dutch
give on the
colors.
No, Max was in the picture. I was like, you don't even
Oh my gosh.
he hasn't won that trophy yet. Why is he in the picture with the trophies? And he was the only driver.
It's ridiculous. But for anyone who didn't see the trophies,
The colors weren't Dutch colors. They were supposed to be like for Japan. I
yeah,
read about it.
yeah, because they were
I
red.
thought it was the colors of the flag of the driver. There was
don't
there
think
was
so.
red and there was white and there was blue.
I think that was for Japan.
Japan would just be white and red.
Either
I know
way,
that, but I'm just telling you what
There
the
was
article I
definitely
read said.
blue.
For the sky.
either way,
For the
anyone who didn't
Netherlands.
see, It's really cool. They kiss the back of the trophy, specifically the back.
And in a specific spot, like a
Yeah.
kiss spot.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it activates like the lighting inside the trophy and it lights up. And it was very
Technology.
yeah, very technically advanced.
Very
So
cool.
I said that this trophy was for my husband Nick and the Hungarian trophy was for me because I'm a ceramic artist. So
Aw.
I love that they do a trophy for each country that they race
Yeah.
in, like it's specific to that kind of area or I don't know, to reflect something of the culture or area.
How
or, I don't know
obnoxious do you
how they
think
choose,
Vegas
but-
is going to be?
I don't know, but I'm with Jamie on this. And I'm also like, they literally make a new trophy every year.
Yeah.
Let them go wild. Who
That's-
cares if it's weird? Didn't they have one that was like a Super Mario, like it was like a gorilla?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah. I
that's
forgot about that
amazing.
one.
Yeah, I'm like, it's literally, it's fun. It's a sport. We need to not get too worked up. And it's beautiful that
Yes.
Hungary has like their beautiful handmade
Yes.
bases.
Yeah.
But like all
Hungaries are
trophies
awesome.
are welcome here.
Mhm. I like it. I mean, there's definitely trophies I don't like as
Yeah.
much, but I thought this one was so
Yeah.
unique and cool. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm here for the innovation.
I think this is my next job.
Trophy designer.
Trophy
Mm.
designer.
I love that.
Hire me,
Yes.
Formula One.
That's how we get the pit lane passes.
Honestly,
Oh,
they
yeah.
should be doing like the medals that they get for each race, the
Yes.
winner. They should get like it should be different for each race. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
'cause
And
Grace
something
just told me
specific to the
that-
country.
Yeah. Grace just told me that the drivers don't get to keep the trophies, but they do keep the medals.
The
That's why they
teams
give them
usually keep the
medals now.
trophies.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a rip. However,
Yeah.
It's a rip.
Max would have to have a second house for all the trophies that he's won so far.
Oh, imagine how
So
many
maybe
Lewis
it's-
has.
Or the
Yeah.
tires. I think someone asked Lewis about his tires and he was like, I don't know where they are, but I have them somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm like, it's a lot of stuff to store. But I wonder if when they leave, it would be nice to be, if I were, here's my hot take. If I were part of the team and I was choosing what is what, I would say, when you leave the team, you get to choose your favorite trophy that you won for the team.
I like that.
You should get at
Yeah.
least one of them. They're so
Yeah.
cool.
I think you might be onto a thing that they actually do.
I
Which is maybe they sometimes give
I
them the
hope
trophies.
so.
I don't
Some
know.
of them are so cool. I mean, they made such a fuss over like Max's broken trophy, which obviously rightfully so. But I was like, but Max isn't even keeping this trophy.
Yeah.
And they were making like Lando apologize to Max. I'm like, well, should he be apologizing to Red Bull Corporation?
Or really, he should be apologizing to the trophy.
Yeah,
maker.
yes, the
Yes.
artisans. Yeah, he should have had an actual apology to the artisans.
I think he probably did.
I hope so.
I think
I'm
he
not
did.
worried about it. He's
Okay.
a nice young man. He's
Yeah.
a brat.
Lando is the one I go up and down on. I want anyone to be doing better than Red Bull, obviously, at this point.
But
'Cause we want what?
but you don't want Lando to be better.
Oh, I'm fine with Lando.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm fine with Lando. I would rather it be Oscar if I were to choose.
Whoa.
I don't know. But then
Did you see the moment
certain-
on the podium when Christian Horner, who is like with the four people on the podium, Christian Horner was right next to Lando. And I think there's a moment, I think it was when Lando was like looking at the trophy and Christian was trying to tell him, he like went like this. And he was probably telling him something about like kissing the trophy. And then of course online, everybody turns it into Christian saying, do you want to come drive for Red Bull?
Oh my gosh. Love.
We love it.
Yeah. Okay. I could be in for Lando switching to Red Bull.
Yeah.
I mean,
It would
here's
be
the thing.
chaos, but kind of in the best way.
It would
Yeah.
be like a George and Lewis Hamilton
Yeah.
situation.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like Lando shouldn't switch to Red Bull until Max is on his way out.
They're like the same
And-
age.
I know. I don't know if there's hope
I
then for
think
Lando.
Lando
switching to Red
should
Bull.
turn McLaren into
Yeah.
a winning team. I also
Yeah.
do think that Lando is younger than Max.
By a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'd
But
be
it's
really
like
hard for Lando.
25, 22.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
maybe Lando's 23.
Yeah, for Lando to not be the golden child of the team. not so great.
I
think that
don't
would
think
really
he
kill
would
his
handle
vibe.
that super well.
Which maybe he needs that a little bit.
I think that Lando gets that much favoritism at McLaren.
No. Yeah, I mean,
He's like,
well, as we saw from the radios in this one, he was really begging for Oscar to move over.
I mean, yes, ostensibly the team is built around Lando, but
and
it
he's like
doesn't.
Zach Brown's adopted son.
Yeah, but does Zach Brown have a tattoo because of Lando?
Well, has Lando
just
won a
saying.
race?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's some stat that Lando is now the driver who's gotten the most points without winning a race.
well,
Kind of believable.
he's in the era of driving in the era of Max Verstappen, so
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna win a race. I
Yeah,
have no
absolutely.
Oh, he
doubt.
totally is.
And I hope that Carlos helps him do it.
I do too. That'd be so sweet.
Take a guess as to who is the second person on that list.
Most. Oh, is it Carlos? No.
Most points
points.
without a race win.
Oh, without a race.
Okay. I'm gonna say
Pierre Gasly.
no. Pierre Gasly
He
has won a
won.
race.
Oh, okay.
Monza.
I'm gonna say Nico.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the most race starts without a podium,
Oh,
Hmm.
and he is so solid. He's
And
a
he
really
must be
solid
most
driver.
points without a podium, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we stand.
But
Shall we sign off?
I feel
yeah,
good
you
about
are
this.
fading into the darkness.
I would like the record to show I didn't get to finish fully my thoughts on Lando,
Oh,
but
sorry.
I'll form
Yes.
them. This is off the cuff. I really like Lando's PR stuff. I think that's what it is. But then he'll like switch a flip and he just has this attitude that it just grinds my gears. Pun intended.
I agree. I think like his online presence is really enjoyable. Like he has good like social, like he does so much streaming and he's enjoyable. But I think brat is the right word because it's definitely giving like my dad is rich, and I think he's like actually
Yes.
still like a pretty nice kid for it, but he's still like obvious my dad is rich, and my
Yes.
parents like let me get away with a lot.
Yeah.
That's what it's giving.
And
Yeah.
then once
'Cause
he's
some
in the
of
car,
kids, it's like, yeah,
once he gets in the car, it's just like that side of him fully comes out.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Instead
Yeah.
of just being a little
'Cause-
charming, it gets in like annoying.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously all of those guys, it's like their dad is rich, but you can tell which ones their dad is rich and was like, no, you're not getting special treatment, you better work freaking hard. And some of them, they were like, I'll give you everything so you can get where we want you to go.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them left their child on the side of a road.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Max's dad.
I did not hear this
He did.
story. Oh my gosh.
There are
when he was, like,
stories
12.
of when
Oh my gosh.
Max was in karting and he would do bad in a race, his dad would like make him walk to the next gas station or something.
Jeez.
No, he would drop him off at the gas station and be like, you got to walk back to the hotel.
Or
And then
yeah,
there's a
something like
story
that.
a family saw him and took pity on him. This is in his book, I think, but it's
Oh
only
my
out in Dutch or
gosh.
something.
Oh my gosh.
And
Mhm.
the family picked him up, drove him to the hotel, and his dad was like, you got here too fast, and drove him back to the gas station and left him again.
Yup.
Wow. That's a real
Yost
vibe.
Verstappen.
Jeez. I knew he was bad. Didn't
Oh.
know all the nitty gritty. Jeez.
It feels like every problematic person in Formula One is somehow associated with Red Bull.
I feel like we could do a whole podcast episode on just Max and his dad's relationship alone.
Well, have you seen that video where like it's Daniel and Max doing PR, I think in Singapore, and they're doing something with like a fork on
Oh.
their fingers like this, and Max goes, my dad did that to a mechanic once, and Daniel's like shocked.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
unrealistic.
That's gnarly.
Have you seen the video of
Gnarly.
Max and Danny doing axe throwing in Canada?
Yes.
And
Danny
Max,
just like immediately gets it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Danny just like beginner's luck. like falls perfectly in.
Some say
And
beginner's
Max
luck,
is
others
just
says,
Oh,
others say.
horrible, and you can just see Max get madder and madder, and he's probably like 18 years old at this point.
He's just throwing the axe at the thing over and over
Yeah.
again, and Danny's just chit-chatting with the person as Max is like,
And they're just laughing at Max, and it's just making Max madder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, at
Good
the end of the
times.
day, all that said and done, I'm still really happy. I am happy for McLaren. Absolutely.
that was really giving, like in the Princess Diaries
Mm.
when they're like, you take this and this, and I give you McLaren.
Okay.
I take
This,
I take Lando
I take Oscar
and give you
McLaren. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our F1 podcast.
ASMR F1.
We are going to lull you off into the night.
Find us everywhere podcasts can be found.
Good night.
Good night.